Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike, and today is the 5th of June already. And we did it. Did we not? I had a feeling this was going to be a good week, but now we need to confirm that it is a good week. We cannot just think we've made it because we broke 70,000. We are a long way from where we want to be. So what we're going to go through today, we have the usual. We're going to go through the markets very quickly, the X-Files. We're going to go through some inevitable prices according to the experts. We're going to go through BNB. There isn't really any particular reason why it's ripping, but there is an article about it, so we're going to go through that. We have got Glorious ETH and where we think that is going to end up. We're going to look at GameStop. I did tell you a few days ago, sorry, GameStop was only going to end in tears, and I think we can see that now. We have got, what do we have now? Brad Garlinghouse. We're going to talk about ETFs, what Brad thinks about an XRP ETF, and then the gold fur auction. We do not cover NFTs a great deal on this channel anymore, and there is a reason for that. Mainly because nobody cares, and that's why I'm including this article. So we're going to go through NFTs at the end of the show. Remember, if you're new here, what can you do? You can smash the like button, you can smash the follow button, you can give us a subscribe, you can do all of those wonderful things. Let us know you're out there. We have just broken 135,000 followers. We have our target in the bottom right hand corner that's been there for a while, which is $74,000. That is the target that we think that we will achieve sometime soon. So a few shout outs. There is a few people in chat. Remember, this is a two-way stream. Say hello, ask questions, let me know what you think, agree with me, disagree with me. So who is in chat this morning? Hidden Agendas, Velvet Rope is here, Mags is here, and I can't see anybody else because my phone is off. Let me check. Who else is over here? And a few people's names I can't pronounce. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We're going to get on with the show. When I have set that there. Perfect. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the markets. We were over 71,000 about 10 or 15 minutes ago. We've just broken back below that. And we are going to get on to the theme of the show later on. So we've just come back below 71,000, sorry. We're just under 71,000. ETH is coming in just over 3,800. I cannot see at all today. I am so blind. There we go. That's better. Now I can see. So market cap coming in at a very respectable 2.63 trillion. Volume is coming in just under 100 billion. We're nearly back at the 100 billion, which is a nice target. Bitcoin dominance and ETH dominance haven't really changed, still about 70% of the market. Good morning, Solo Sky, welcome to the stream. So Bitcoin is up 3% on the last 24 hours, nearly 71,000. ETH is over 3,800, but look at BNB, absolutely ripping. Over $100 billion in BNB. I remember buying BNB September last year. I think it was $202, $203. I remember saying on the stream I didn't have enough BNB. I didn't have any BNB, I don't think, at the time. So I bought BNB. I haven't got a lot of BNB, but I have some BNB. Solana is coming in just under 174,000. That is the key line for me, is 174,000. I think Brogan has 172, 173. So we're kind of in the same figures for that. And XRP is back over 52 cents. So not a bad return for the top coins. And big gainers of the last 24 hours. Floki is up 25%. They have just signed an investment deal. I believe it's about $12.5 million from an investment firm looking to invest into Floki. It has a whole ecosystem. It has a metaverse, which I think is called Valhalla. I've covered it before on the channel. I've made a video about Floki. It's a good project. I really like it. It's done way better than I expected. When I reviewed Floki, I never expected it to be a $3 billion project, but there you go. It can outperform even what I expect it to do. Uniswap is up 40 stacks. We've already mentioned BNB, Shiba, and Starknet. Starknet have got some breaking news to do with Bitcoin, I believe. So they're up there on merit, and not just because they're a meme coin. I don't think there's too many losers today. Notcoin, again, I'm never going to help this coin on this channel because I don't believe it is going to do anything but leave you in tears. If you generate not, sell it. That is my advice. Take the money and put it into Bitcoin, put it into Ethereum, put it into Solana. Notcoin is not for me, if you pardon the pun. Wormhole is down just a touch. There aren't many losers. It's mainly been a green day. Mainly been a green day. A good day, I would say, for the markets in general. The one thing I can't fathom, if we go back, to Ethereum. Ethereum didn't move with the market yesterday, and I don't know why. If we look at Solana, BNB, Bitcoin, we go a bit further down, we'll see other coins that have moved. Ethereum only moved 1%. Now, I do have a bull flag on Ethereum, and I don't know if it's going to play out, but that could possibly be the reason. But Ethereum hasn't moved. Maybe people are keeping their powder dry and waiting for the big news. We shall see. Right, let's move on. Let us move on. There's a few more comments in chat. Tariq, good morning to you. Bullish Bull is listening after beating the missus at tennis. You know that you should not beat your wife at a game. That is the end of a marriage right there. That is a marriage breaker, not a tiebreaker. It's a marriage breaker. You should always let your wife win. Now then, I've had this up on the screen many times in the past, and I want to re-show you this again. This is the list of the top 10 assets in the world. We have gold, 5 times more valuable than Microsoft and Nvidia for that matter, and Apple and people like that. Alphabet, which is Google, Amazon, Saudi Arabia's oil company is up there. Then we move down here and we see silver in 8th position and Bitcoin in 9th position. I think, conservatively, by the end of this bull run, Bitcoin should be somewhere near, I would say, second behind gold. I think Bitcoin is going to go somewhere in the region of $5 trillion, I would say. And that's a 3x from here, 4x, 3 or 4x from here. I think that's where we're going to go for Bitcoin. So over the next 18 months, I am sure I'm going to show you this chart again. But lots of people out there are new, they've never seen this before. So it's useful to understand the hype around Bitcoin, because lots of people in crypto don't appreciate that some of the market caps of coins, like BNB at $100 billion, is still huge. Ethereum, by the way, is on this chart in something like 18th or 16th position. So Ethereum is in there. Now, if Ethereum does, rip up trees and goes to 1.3, 1.4 trillion, that will probably go into 10th position. So then we'll have 2 crypto assets out of the top 10 most valuable assets or stocks in the world. So that's how far we've come. And I think a lot of time people in crypto don't appreciate just quite how valuable Bitcoin has become. Only 5 or 6 years ago, people were being laughed at for holding Bitcoin. Well, they're not laughing anymore, and they won't be laughing in a year's time. So we will overtake silver. We will probably overtake, I would say conservatively, by the end of the year, we could be up in 6th position. I don't think that's unachievable. That would put us about maybe $100,000 Bitcoin. Maybe I think we could certainly look at targeting Amazon, but of course these are sliding scales. If Nvidia continues to go on its mad rampage, Nvidia is likely to be at 3 or 4 trillion soon. Apple might have a bad set of figures. Microsoft the same. So this isn't a static chart. This chart does move. So I think Bitcoin, the only way is up for Bitcoin, and don't be surprised if it's in second position. This time next year even, maybe the end of next year though. I don't want to overextend my bullishness at this time of the day. So here are the monthly annual returns on major assets. The best major TradFi asset is Nvidia, I believe, at 17%. Major crypto assets, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, 141, 152, and 224% annualized. So had you invested in those three assets and nothing else, you would have outperformed the best traditional asset by a 10x, roughly by a 10x. So again, we are not going to continue to see these returns forever. We are still in an expanding market, but again, another example of how you take these moves in crypto for granted. A traditional stock will go up 6% in a year and maybe pay a dividend of 3%. That's an exceptional stock. Bitcoin can move from 57,000 to 71,000 in the space of 3 weeks. That's a 20% move. So understand that as we get bigger and bigger market caps in some of these assets, we are not going to see these returns forever. This is, as a lot of people have coined it, the last great bull run. This is the bull run, and the last bull run are the bull runs that people will be talking about in economics lectures in 30 years' time. When Bitcoin was growing as an asset, its returns were exceptional. Now, Bitcoin is probably still going to grow in the future, probably still going to grow at 10 to 15% a year, but it's not going to grow at 100% and 80% a year. It's certainly not going to happen. Now then, this is Hodl Capital, who we follow. Today's trading volume for the ETFs. Down here, we will see that there have been 16 consecutive positive days. Now, what that means is it doesn't mean 16 consecutive days. It means 16 5-day weeks. So we've had over 3 weeks of continuous input. And look at the number of Bitcoin bought today just by these two companies. 1,265 Bitcoin gone into these ETFs, and these ETFs alone. That is 3 times the amount of Bitcoin being mined every day. Now, for those of you that miss my predictions about the great FOMO event that's going to happen, if we want to call it that, the great supply shock for Ethereum and Bitcoin, if you are producing 450 of anything a day and you are using 1,200 a day, and that's over 5 days, so let's say it's 6,000 a week. If you are burning up 6,000 assets a day and you are generating, let's say, 3,000 a week, there is a net loss of 3,000 Bitcoin a week. That's 12,000 a month that we are losing from these exchanges. Now, I know what you're going to say, that these Ethereum ETFs can sell as well as they can buy. These are net purchases we're showing you. They've been net purchases now for 3 weeks. They are taking all of the Bitcoin supply out of crypto. And it isn't going to happen today or tomorrow, but at some point in the next 18 months, this is going to hit the market and the price is going to break. And it's going to break to the upside. It's not going to break to the downside. And that's what's going to cause potentially the blow off top. Because the higher the price of Bitcoin goes, the more people will FOMO in, which will accelerate the reduction in that asset on exchanges, which will get to a tipping point where the price will have to go to such a level that people sell. And it's not going to be today or tomorrow. And in the long term, you are going to see a $500,000 Bitcoin. In the long term, you're going to see a $1 million Bitcoin. But it's not going to be today or tomorrow, no matter what people tell you. Eventually, maybe the end of this bull run, it's 250,000. Maybe the end of the next bull run, it's 500,000 or 600,000. And maybe the end of the next bull run, it's $1 million. So we are talking maybe 9 years away. before we hit $1 million. And things can happen to bring that forward. If Canada or New Zealand or even the UK decides to store Bitcoin instead of gold, for example, then of course, yes, you lose 100,000 Bitcoin off the market, and it's gonna accelerate what I'm talking about. But this is a good article because these prices are not Moonboy, Degen, Crypto Bro maths. These are actually reasonable targets. And this is not just the price target for Bitcoin, it's the price target for Bitcoin and the next 5 assets. And it's good to share prices that I do have an agreement with, because a lot of the time I'll show you an article and it'll be $600 XRP, or it will be, $500,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year, which is clearly never going to happen. So when you see something sensible, it's actually quite nice to agree with somebody for once. So we don't need to read all this nonsense. Bitcoin and altcoins begin their next move up. Crypto Emily, an analyst, has revealed where she expects the price of major crypto assets to go. The analyst starts out with Bitcoin, giving it a major price tag before moving on to other altcoins. For Bitcoin Crypto, Emily believes that the price of the foremost cryptocurrency will rise to $100,000, joining the ranks of Bitcoin believers who think this is possible. From the current price, it's less than 50% price move, absolutely. Then she turns her attention to Ethereum, where she says the price will eventually touch $10,000 as inevitable. The issue with this that I'm going to raise is that the Bitcoin Ethereum pair would have to go to 0.1. And it hasn't been at 0.1 for since the inception of Ethereum. So for there to be a $10,000 Ethereum, we would probably need $170,000 or $180,000 Bitcoin, around that figure. However, she moves on. She talks about Solana and BNB touching $1,000. Now, we've already seen BNB has touched $700 today. Solana is still struggling at $175. I do agree with this, though. Solana is going to move a lot faster than BNB. BNB is like this hulking elephant. It's slow, it stays in the doldrums, and then when it rips, it doesn't stop. It's like a bull walking through wall after wall. It just doesn't stop until the elephant gets tired. And that's what BNB is. So the likelihood is BNB will go to $800 and then stay there for a year. That's what's likely to happen with BNB. Solana, on the other hand, isn't. Solana is likely to go to 200, come back to 175, maybe 250, back to 200. Then it will go to price discovery. Then we are wherever we're going to go. Remember, Grayscale Solana Trust is valuing Solana at just under $500 at the minute. So $1,000 target for Solana is pretty excellent. I totally agree with that. And then she talks about XRP and Matic. Matic never gets the attention in the news that I think it warrants. And that can be for one of many reasons. I'm not going to go into those now. But to predict $10 for XRP and Matic, they are really good picks for me. That would be about a 12x for Polygon, and it would be about a 20x for XRP. But remember, once the XRP case closes, XRP will pump. Maybe it'll go to $1.20, $1.40, and then $1.40 to $10 in the bull run. That's not really here or there. That's likely to happen. So again, she's absolutely, in my opinion, 95% in alignment with what I think. The only one I would disagree with is the chain of events. So you can have a $10 XRP and Matic with a $1,000 Solana and BNB, with a $10,000 Ethereum, but none of those will go with a $100,000 Bitcoin, because I think the most we're going to see is 0.07 or maybe even 0.08, and that would still put Bitcoin above $130,000, $140,000. So, but again, I think Emily's hit the nail on the head. And these maybe not be the final prices. These may be the prices that we hit by the end of the year. These may be prices that she thinks we'll hit by next April. Nobody's ever going to be accurate, but I think she is pretty much spot on with all of those. Now, we are going to go and have a quick look at Old Faithful, which is Bitcoin, see where we are. See where the next price target is going to be for Bitcoin, because that's what everybody wants to know. Where are we going to go with Bitcoin? Well, first of all, if we go down here, there is my target for Bitcoin. $73,781 is my next target. But look at where we are approaching. This level here, if we drag this down a bit, that is where we touched way back on the 21st of May. I know we're on the 1 hour chart, but we'll go out again in a minute. So what did we do this time? We came up and touched it, and we have come down from that level. So 71.3 or 71.4, I think I had. That's what we have to break next. But more importantly than breaking 71.3, we need to hold this key level here, which is there, about there, 70,000. So what I would like to see today is this action. That's what I would like to see today. I want to see us test 70,000, because we've been stuck at this range. And I said yesterday, the title of my stream yesterday was it Can You Feel It? I think it was Can You Feel It? And the market, and I in the show yesterday I said Bitcoin has been moving sideways now for 2 or 3 weeks, and something's going to happen. And that's what I said yesterday. And the reason I said that is that Bitcoin coils up, and it coils up for a move, upside or downside, either way, it coils. Luckily, or not luckily, because it's expected, we've coiled to the upside. But now we've come to this level. Now, look what happened last time. We kind of put in this downward movement last time. Hang on 1 second. Help if I could draw today. I really can't see today. My eyes are killing me. So, if we do that, and we follow the same movement, then we're back at 69.7. If we do the same thing. However, I'll refer you to the article we read out about the ETFs, and they're simply gorging on Bitcoin. So, although I think we might have either a breakout here, and a lot of people have been saying we're in a breakout, and this is a breakout. If you go to the daily, especially, you'll see. I mean, this is, if we kind of show you this, downward line from here to here, we've broken out. It depends on where you draw the line from. It doesn't really matter. We've broken up. We've broken out. So if we do break 71.3, which we touched, then where next? The next target for me is 73.7. That's the goal. And again, that is a 3% move from where we are now. It can happen. But as I said, we've got to be careful, because we are at a very, very important price. We got rejected just here. We've closed at it here. We've tried ever so much to break that goal and break that target. So we're at a very key level. 71.3 is a key level. If you look at the charts this afternoon, say 4 or 5 o'clock, and we're at 71.6, 71.7, what we want to see, if we don't come back down to test 70,000, we want to see this. We want to test it and move up. That is key, because if that doesn't happen, we are going to do this and come back down again. Either way, over the next 6 to 12 months, we are going to move to the upside. But if I was a betting man, I would say that we're going to come back down to 70,000 today, and maybe we'll stay in the 70,000 range for a day or two. It's Wednesday today. We've only got two ETF days left after today. So if we get another 1,300 Bitcoin bought today, then we are going to move up, and maybe we test 73,000 today. But my hunch is a little bit down, and I do have the title today of Knock Knock all-time high. I know, because we are so close. We are so close. If you think we've had this $74,000 target in our back pocket since March. That's where we've been holding on now for nearly 3 months. It's going to give way at some point. It doesn't mean I'm right, because we're going to go up to 80, 90, 100,000 anyway, but I think these are good targets to look at. And 71.3 is critical, but also holding 70,000 for me is more critical. I want to see that. That's what I want to see, because look what happened there. We didn't hold it, straight back down. We wicked above, straight back down. We've gone up here. Are we going to do the same thing again and come straight back down? This is where the bears need to go and hibernate for the summer, because it's too hot for their little furry coats. And we need the bulls to come out really angry and start chasing little Spanish people around the streets. That's what we need to see today, tomorrow, and the rest of next week, and for June especially. Now, we're going to look at BNB, because this article doesn't really shed any light on why BNB is pumping, but it's the only article I could find about it. Remember, if you are new here, to smash the like button and give us a follow. Let us know where you are from as well, just so we know who we are talking to. So let me make this bigger so you can see what's happening in BNB price. What's driving the rally? Analyst explained. The BNB price has been on a steady rise, so what is the reason behind this rise? Is it sustainable? Well, I've got my own reasons, but we'll go through the article here first. So BNB is on the verge of a new record. It's broken $700. It follows a significant gain of over 10% from Sunday's low of 597. As of now, BNB is trading at 669, up 7.6% in the last 24 hours. I think it's a little bit higher than it is now. What is it at now? Is it at 695 now? Is it 712? No, 697. There we go. So it's 697 now. So we are just under $700. The recent increase in value can be explained by strong participation. Oh yeah, this is the launch pool. Okay, so I was talking about this the other day, and the reason for this is that there's a staking tool been introduced, and that is to do with locking your BNB for 30, 60, 90, or 120 days. And it's only just happened within the last month or so. That's locked a lot of BNB away for a long time. Now, again, if we go back to what we're saying about Bitcoin, imagine that those ETFs are locking Bitcoin away, taking it out of the market. We're seeing what it's doing to BNB in a more accelerated way. BNB was at $200 a few sleeps ago. It's now at $700. If we're seeing the same effect on Bitcoin that we're seeing on BNB, we are going to see the 2 or 3x from where we are now, quite easily. So the trading volume is up. I do think people are buying BNB to lock away. There were 11,250 BNB options were traded, with prices between 6 and 700, and strike prices between 650 and 550. With 7.5 million open interest in BNB options, most of the put options will become worthless if it continues to rise. This is not investment advice, absolutely. So I think in all of this article, the one thing that you can take away is what I've already told you, which is having a staking solution for your coins reduces the supply on the open market and increases the price. It's fairly standard economics. BNB didn't have that. Now it has. I think it's working wonders with the price. And if we take a very quick look at the chart, how are we doing for time, by the way? 11:30. And we're on BNB. So we've still got 4 articles to go. Hoo-ha. Okay, so you can kind of see this breakout on BNB. And this has played out pretty much as we drew on this graph. And for those of you that don't follow us, we don't really edit these charts from stream to stream. I just find the links and add them. So we found this huge level of resistance here, which was at 618 from the beginning of beginning of April. We tested it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and then what happened? was we were putting in higher lows. So the expectation that I had was we would get somewhere near this area and break out. And we put our different price targets above this line. We had our price target here, which was 664, and then we had our price target here, which I believe is 694. And look where we are. Now, the only worry when a coin does this is it FOMO? Is it speculation? Is it sustainable? Why has it happened? Now, in most cases, if I was looking at this chart and this was a meme coin, let's say this was Pepe, I would tell you that this is going to come back down to earth. That's what I would say. Hang on 1 second. There we go. Now, bull market support band, we left it back here. We were there with it all the way along. That coincides roughly with when the staking solution was launched. I think it was in March or April it was launched. And the price has come up. And I think what I would like to see, certainly, is this for a while. Similar to down here. Let's have this for a while. Then let's wait for the bull market support band to arc up like that. Or maybe it'll go like that, something like that. So then we've not moved too far away from it, because like I say, this trend line that we're on, which we've been on since pretty much the beginning to middle of April, it's held stead. So I think if we can hold this range and not try and go to the moon today, because we don't want to go today, I think then we've got a good chance of going to $1,000, maybe the beginning of next year. $700 would be a great price to hold. I don't think we're going to do it. I do think this 694 level is important, and we can go all the way back, go to the weekly, we can go all the way back, and you can see the lines there. That's where we're at. We are at all-time highs on BNB, and you can't say that about many coins. You can't say that about Ethereum. You can't say that about Bitcoin, for example. So we are there. We are at the point of being in price discovery, and that's, I don't want to sound too negative, but that's a real positive thing, because in price discovery, BNB could go to $800 or $900, but it would come straight back down again, in my opinion. We saw it with Fetch. Fetch ripped to the upside, and then it's retraced quite a lot. I think BNB needs to have a period of time where it consolidates at some of these prices, and then we can talk about $1,000. But it's good for BNB, and if the locking mechanism coincides with the burn mechanism, then BNB is just over time going to become a more and more scarce and more valuable coin. And it's never a bad idea to hold coins that hold this kind of value. But like I said, would I buy BNB today? No, I wouldn't. Would I short BNB today? No, I wouldn't. I don't think BNB is going to go to $1,000 today. Remember, that would need an additional 50 billion in market cap. So that's a huge move. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to top out. I think we're going to have a rest, and then we're going to take another leg up. So let's just accept that that's a good move for BNB, but don't expect it to keep ripping to the upside. Now, Ethereum is set for a glorious year. Analyst eyes $10,000 target. There's another $10,000 target for Ethereum. And remember, I used to talk a lot about what would happen to Ethereum without an ETF. And my target was, I think I said somewhere in the region of 6,000 to 9,000, maybe 7,000 to 10,000 without an ETF. With an ETF, we're going to go considerably higher. And the reason is the sheer amount of money that comes in. People will buy Bitcoin and Ethereum as a package. People might put 80% of the money into Bitcoin and 20% into Ethereum, or 90-10. But people are going to buy Ethereum. It's like you go to the cinema, you have popcorn and you have a drink. You don't buy popcorn without the drink, but at the minute you go into the cinema and all you can buy is popcorn. So the more ETFs we have within reason, Solana as well, they will tap into the hype behind Bitcoin. And the hype behind Ethereum and Solana ETFs will propel Bitcoin, because people will see more assets. So they'll top up their supply. So let's say they've got $100,000 in Bitcoin and they might want to buy Ethereum and Solana ETFs. They might put another $100,000 in, and this time they might put $60,000 into Solana and Ethereum, and they might put another $40,000 into Bitcoin. So this is a win-win for Bitcoin, and it's a win-win for Ethereum, and it will absolutely bang on certainly be a win-win for Solana. The way that Solana is being talked about right now, it's as if it never goes down and there's never a problem with it. And when you get to that stage, you've got past all of these problems being an issue, and now the big boys are coming after Solana, because that's where they know the money is. So in terms of Ethereum, I think $10,000 is the minimum Ethereum will go to in this bull run. We're already at, what are we at now? Nearly $4,000. We're at $3,800. We're not far away. We're going to hit $5,000 or $6,000 in the next month or so. That's where we're at. Look, and another thing to bear in mind, there are certain things I am not going to talk about anymore on this channel. And one of them is the what's about to happen in America in November. I'm not going to talk about it because apparently that has a detrimental effect on your traffic. However, the campaign in America, which ends in November, the existing government are trying to appear to be really pro-America, pro-entrepreneurialship. If you look at the border, they're now stopping the border just before the election. They have approved or forced the SEC to approve the Ethereum ETF. They're going to force the SEC to approve the Solana ETF. Remember, we're only in June. If we get that Ethereum ETF on July the 4th, as I've predicted, we're going to see the Solana applications going in by the end of the summer. Now, if that happens, there is no reason why in October we will not get a Solana ETF. And that's even before what we think Anatoly and the big boys think, which is next year. Next year, they're talking about that. But for me, I think the current incumbent government are going to want to do that as well as everything else that's going on. So Solana eyeing $10,000. I think it's pretty much a nailed on conclusion that this is going to happen. The Ethereum ETF is going to drive, even if it's $10 billion or $20 billion into Ethereum, that exponentially raises the price. You don't need to put in. So if Ethereum is at 400 billion, you don't physically need to add $400 billion to make the market cap 800 billion. It doesn't work like that. There are calculations where if you buy $1 of Bitcoin, it rises the price of Bitcoin by the market cap by an exponential amount. So you might only need to see 40 billion coming into Ethereum to give it another market cap of 700, 800 billion. So we are on the cusp. Now, if we get to an $800 billion market cap, then Ethereum is already at nearly $8,000. So $10,000 is not being unrealistic, but it's about timing. When is it going to happen? When these ETFs are launched on July the 4th, I would say within a month, maybe August, we will see a $6,000 Ethereum. We might have a retracement the same way we saw the Bitcoin retracement, which will be more substantial, and then we'll just continue to go higher. So maybe we'll put in a new high at $6,000, maybe we'll retrace down to $4,500, and then we'll carry on our merry way. Maybe we'll be at $8,000 by the end of the year, but I think $10,000 is the key. So Gel urged investors not to panic, arguing there's no reason to flip bearish. The crypto analyst highlighted the key movement of the king of altcoins has seen in the past few weeks. Now, remember what I said at the start of the show as well. Ethereum didn't move in the last 24 hours. Bitcoin has gone from 68.6 to 71,000 in a day. Ethereum did what? It's polishing its nails. It's scratching its eyebrow. What's it done? It's done nothing. Why hasn't it moved? Why has the second biggest asset in crypto not moved with Bitcoin on such a big day for Bitcoin? That's a question. Now, are we seeing people sitting on the sides knowing that this S1 application that's been put in, are they expecting news this week? Because it's the only reason we haven't moved. So due to the spot approval, Ethereum broke out of a does that say a multi-moth falling wedge? I didn't know there was such a thing as a multi-moth falling wedge. Month falling wedge, but we are still at 38 and change. So we're way better off than we were on Ethereum. I think I've got the Ethereum chart to show you as well, where we are. But just remember the other thing we've talked about, the Bitcoin ETH pair. Bitcoin has been destroying ETH for 2 years and it hasn't stopped, and it's not going to stop. And there will be brief interludes when the Ethereum ETF goes live. But don't think for a minute that Bitcoin is going to be removed. So this is what I said. When we left here, we bounced off the bull market support band. We rocketed up. Remember the analogy. We've charged in at the gates of Mordor. We've got to the orcs. We've turned around and the entire army is watching us and we're there on our own. So what do we need to do? We need to hold the line. And what did we do? We held the line, and we've still held the line. And look what's happening. That bull market support band has gone from $3,000 to nearly $3,200 in 2 weeks. And it's going to keep moving up. Now, we also have this. Now this, I'm not saying this is going to play out. If this happens, where does that take us? $4,700, let's call it. Is it going to happen? Who knows? But it's there. It's in the chart. There is a possible breakout. We've had a period of time, again, very similar to Bitcoin. I said this yesterday. Bitcoin goes quiet. It's building up to something. Ethereum, for the last 2 weeks, has sat at this range. Is it going to pop? That's the question. Is it going to pop? And is this line, should this line go to there, for example? And if it does, where does that take us? The other one was 4.7. Oh, look, it takes us to 4.6, which is where this line is. Is that an omen? Possibly, but Ethereum is going to do something. We don't know what it's going to do, but it's going to do something. Is there already a line down there? Yes, it is. So I'm expecting big things from Ethereum. I wouldn't be shorting Ethereum right now. I wouldn't be looking to sell my Ethereum right now. I would be looking to dollar cost average into Ethereum at these prices. If we know that Ethereum is going to go to somewhere in the region of $10,000 and we're at $3,800, it is almost a 3x. So for the second biggest asset in crypto, and know that that second biggest asset is going to rip to the upside because of this influx of cash, buying Ethereum is a no-brainer. For those of you out there that are slightly more complex and know more about what you're doing, then you're going to look for faster horses. I appreciate that. You're going to look at Ondi, you're going to look at Flux in some cases, you're going to look at Jupiter, you're going to look at Uniswap, you're going to look at the exchanges. We spoke yesterday about Woo. So you're going to look at those because they will outperform Ethereum. If you're new to crypto, you do not hold Ethereum, you need to look in the mirror and say, what am I doing with my life? You need to hold Ethereum. It's not financial advice, it's my opinion. You need Ethereum, you need Solana, and you certainly need Bitcoin. We've seen those three coins over the annualized returns are all doing 140 to 220% in history. Moving forward, they might do half of that per year, but still, it's outperforming the stock market by 5-fold. So go and get some Ethereum, go and get some Solana, go and get some Bitcoin and hold your horses a little bit on BNB. BNB is likely to not move now for another month. And if it does rip to the upside, great. Right then, let us move on very quickly, see where we are. So GameStop sinks after wild swing. Will Roaring Kitty cash in? So we spoke about this, and I said, don't go anywhere near GameStop. Don't buy the meme. Don't buy the stock. It's going to end in tears. And as of yesterday, as far as I'm aware, the stock had fallen. There we go. As of writing, GameStop shares had traded 4% lower on Tuesday at $27 even. This followed a 30% drop on Monday. Now, the issue is, and I said this yesterday, is this market manipulation? In my opinion, it absolutely is. But there was a very good thread on X talking about this and talking about the fact that other companies can talk about coins and their predictions of coins, and they seem to go and be able to do that and say that this price is going to go down, this price is going to go up. No one says a word to them. However, two wrongs do not make a right. And I think Gil is guilty of market manipulation, the same way that these companies issuing these stock price predictions are also trying to manipulate the market. So then they're both wrong. It doesn't mean he should be let off from what he's done. He's cost you and people like you and me an awful lot of money. So the options held by Gil will be above $20 by June the 21st, increased in value by $54 million in a day. The influencer was nurturing a loss of $65,000 on the call options the day before. They're now worth $120 million. His shares are valued at $140 million. Do we not see what he is doing? He is clearly manipulating the market. It is clearly illegal. He shouldn't be allowed to do it. And the reason I am bringing this up is, yet again, you have an influencer telling you to go and do something for their personal gain. So this isn't a gain for you. They're not Mother Teresa. You know, they're not walking around picking people up off the streets and putting clothes on them and feeding them out of their own pocket. They're doing this so Mr. Gill can make $120 million, or $140 million, should I say. And even if the price does drop by another 10%, it will still be $126 million. And what do you think Mr. Gill is going to do with his money? He's going to take it and he's going to leave, and you're never going to see him again. So, be careful of listening to any advice from anybody on the internet. Now, we've got 12 minutes left and we have 2 articles. I think we're doing quite well. I think we are doing quite well. I've just seen Fran pop into chat. Good morning, Fran. Welcome to the stream. By the way, the poll of the day: can we hold $70,000? 100% of you are correct, and 100% of you have said yes. So, congratulations to all of you. You're finally now starting to believe in our premonitions. We were right yesterday. I'm not saying we're going to hit all-time highs today, but we're looking at them and they're looking awfully tasty. It's like a KFC bucket. So, just in, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse talks about XRP ETFs. And again, irrespective of whether Ripple gets an ETF or not, an XRP gets an ETF or not, it is still not going to go to $600. You will be lucky to get a $15 XRP. The likelihood is, in this bull run, without an ETF, it will go to maybe $5 to $7. With an ETF, it certainly will probably go somewhere near $10, maybe a little bit more. So we're talking in that price range. So anyone that says 690, 689, 100, Even $50 XRP is pushing it. That's 100x from where we are now. Just temper your expectations, because you will buy these coins and in 18 months time you will be disappointed, because you'll still hold them at all-time highs and then you'll hold them all the way through the bear market. And the chances are XRP will retrace to maybe $3 and you could have sold it at $9. And that's the problem. And that's what these influencers don't tell you, because they tell you, oh, it's going to go to $50, Bitcoin's going to go to $500,000, Ethereum's going to go to $25,000, because they know if they tell you what price they expect it to go to, you might sell before they get a chance to sell. It's like me saying to you, oh, don't get on this bus. You wait for the next bus, because the next bus has got golden seats and free drinks and caviar. So then you don't get on the bus. I get to my destination. You're at a bus stop and it's raining and the bus hasn't turned up. That's what it's like. They don't care about you. They care about themselves. And when you see these articles about GameStop, $1,000 for XRP, or $1 million or $3 million for Bitcoin, they don't want you to sell. And they're telling you things to stop you from selling. And it is absolutely horrific how they treat people. And of course, we're not going to get the traffic that these people get, because we don't give these outlandish price predictions. And that's why we're never going to have the same worries that they have, because I can sleep at night, and that's a big difference for me. So, should XRP have an ETF? That's the main question. It's a centralized organization. Bitcoin isn't, Ethereum to some extent isn't, Solana to some extent isn't. XRP is the most centralized of them all. Should it have its own ETF? I don't think it should. If I'm honest, I think Cardano, Litecoin, Solana certainly, AVAX, companies like that maybe. I think XRP is it's a company that has issued tokens instead of shares. Now, the irony is that there's going to be an IPO for Ripple, and it will probably value the company in billions. So it's going to have an IPO. It's already made billions from selling XRP, and now it's going to make even more billions by selling shares. But I don't think it should have an ETF. It will get one. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I don't think it should have one. So Brad Garlinghouse, who happens to be the CEO of Ripple, has come out and said that the XRP ETF is inevitable. Now, he's the CEO of Ripple. Is he likely to come out and say, it's not likely that we're ever going to see an XRP ETF? No, he isn't. Of course he isn't, because it will push the price of his product up. And that's something else to bear in mind. He expects it in 2025. Bearing in mind we're in 2024, we are probably 8-9 months away from a new group of people in charge of the free world. So they're going to allow everything. You walk in the door and you've got KFC, and the head of the SEC will say, yep, KFC, yeah, absolutely. That's going to be an ETF. That's got an ETF. Yep, you can go and have one of them. Yeah, but this is lunch. I'm not actually applying for an ETF. This is just my lunch. Yeah, doesn't matter. Give it an ETF. They're going to throw ETFs to the four corners of the country. Everybody's going to get an ETF, right? That's not a good thing either. And I think Solana, and I think there should be somebody in the SEC who knows about crypto, and not just knows about crypto, but understands the ethos and the ethics and everything about crypto to decide what is and isn't an ETF. Now, of course, Ripple will have more money than sense to go into a lawsuit to sue them for for holding their company back, and they'll win. That's why they'll get one. Doesn't mean they should have one, but they will get one. What will it do to the price of XRP? It will skyrocket the price of XRP. XRP, like I said, will go above 10 billion. Now, this isn't going to happen. There is not going to be a $2 billion fine issued by the SEC. It's more than likely going to be, I don't know, maybe $100 to $200 million fine. When the fine is paid, we will have closure from the SEC, and the price of Ripple will probably double. So if you want to buy a coin for the near to short term that is going to do at least a 100% return, and this isn't financial advice, then I think Ripple is going to move. And it might move and never come back, remember. XRP may go to $1.50, $1.60, $1.75, $2, and it might go on a kind of surge that Solana went on when Solana recovered from the FTX fiasco. XRP may go on one of these moves and never look back. It might, like I said, it could be at $3 by the end of the year. I don't know, but it all depends on the hype around it. If I was Brad Garlinghouse, which I'm not because he's got a better beard than I have, if I was Brad Garlinghouse, I would keep all of my good PR, all of my partnerships, all of my country level agreements. I would keep them all on my desk. And the day that I get the fine paid and the SEC court case is over, week after week for 6 months, I would release one of those articles. Nobody talks about the fact that XRP is going to be doing CBDCs for countries. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about the fact that XRP is going to have its own stablecoin. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about the fact that XRP is written into the banking protocols. Nobody talks about that. South America, Eastern Europe, nobody talks about any of these things. It's at 52 cents. It's probably not the most undervalued token in the top 20, but it's probably in the top 1 of the most undervalued tokens in the top 20. And this is coming from somebody who doesn't even like it. It's centralized. It has a point of attack. It has a point of vulnerability. But you can't have a decentralized protocol for the banks. Do you honestly expect the banks to invest into a project that doesn't have a central organization in charge of it? So it's a means to an end that Brad Garlinghouse has done this. He knows that the banks won't trust Bitcoin. He knows that the banking system won't trust Ethereum. Traditional finance will trust Ethereum. But look at the setup. Ethereum for traditional finance. Solana for retail. You and me and pretty little monkeys on the screen, okay? The banking system, XRP. That's it. That's all you need. And Bitcoin is a store of value. That's all you need. So why hold anything else other than those 4 tokens? That's a question you've got to ask yourself. In 20 years' time, are those 4 tokens and 4 projects and 4 blockchains going to exist? I'm 95% certain they are. Do I believe that Phantom, AVAX, who else? Dogecoin, Toncoin, do I think they're going to exist in 20 years' time? 15, 20% chance of them existing? So I am certainly not an XRP maxi. It's the person at the bar that you don't want to talk to, but they just happen to be really funny. That's the issue with XRP. You can't ignore it. And much as I don't like it, I have to admit there's no other way for them to have done what they wanted to do. And I still don't think it should have an ETF because it's a centralized organization. They've issued proxy shares in XRP. They've made billions out of it. And now they're going to do an IPO. So it's like they've not just got one massive cake, they've got 2 massive cakes and they're eating both of them. That's the issue. XRP is just too big to fail now. It's already spent the last 4 years doing everything it needs to do. And for me, it's going to do big numbers. I'm just not a fan of it. I do hold some, but I'm not a fan of it. Now then, we haven't had one of these monkeys on the screen, or apes, should I say, in forever. And why? Is because that NFTs, they come at the end of a cycle. So 2 years ago, when we started streaming, we were getting to the end of the NFT craze. And we were talking about Justin Bieber buying a Bored Ape. We were talking about Snoop Dogg and he's got his own kind of alter ego online. It's not called Da Vinci, but he's got his own alter ego online. What's he called now? I've got his name at the top of my tongue, doesn't matter. Anyway, so people were buying these Bored Apes at $120,000. And then NFTs wet the bed. They wet the bed, the legs went out from under the bed, and they were on the floor in their own pee for the last 2 years. And I think at one point you could pick up a Bored Ape for about $12,000, $10,000. So this is important because this is the first minor bird going into the cave. This is the first test for NFTs, for the OG NFTs. Is this going to sell? And that's why it's important, because if this sells, then NFTs will get the extra hype that has been missing for the last 2 years. This is the Gold Fur Bored Ape NFT, and it will retest the art world demand according to this article. So apparently it's a 4-minute read. We'll see how fast I can read this. A curated batch of Bored Apes and the Ethereum ETH NFTs from Yuga Labs is set to be auctioned off at Sotheby's on June the 18th, which is 2 weeks from today, providing a white glove test of the staying power of ape-themed assets in the fine art community. Let's get rid of some of these adverts. 1 second. Right, there we go. Okay, so this Bored Ape was one of the main selling points. Is the fact that it's got solid gold fur. Let's go back and have a look at it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Absolutely lovely ape there. Right now. So NFTs from profile picture collections typically include various randomized traits. In addition to a collectible's provenance, they can have an outsized influence on NFT's value. Today I learned that 3A Capital owned a complete set of gold fur BAYC and mutant apes, which is coming up for auction. What do you think this package lands? So they paid 95 ETH for the Bored Ape and 11 ETH for the dog. I can't click on that, it's going to open the screen. Now, don't get me wrong, if you offered me a Bored Ape or a mutant ape, I would buy it. And I was very close to buying a mutant ape. Was it about this time last year when they were about $3,000 or $4,000? I nearly bought one. And I thought, no, I don't think it's the time. Maybe this cycle, yes, but not back then. So the cheapest ape listed for sale on the secondary market would cost somebody $48,000 today, so the price has gone up. But only 46 of these gold furs were minted, and the last one sold for $933,000 or 247 ETH in March. Of on-chain sales tracked by the NFT Marketplace, OpenSea, 9 of the 12 highest Bored Ape sales involved apes with gold fur, and the trait has benefited Sotheby's before. In 2021, the art house facilitated a record-setting 3.4 million sale of a Bored Ape featuring gold fur. Referencing the year that Yuga Labs released its Bored Ape line, Sotheby's head of digital art and NFTs, Michael Bunhana, described the Bored Ape as a 2021 relic. Oh, that's a great name for them, isn't it? Meanwhile, the NFT researcher who posts as Punk9059 on Twitter highlighted the price that they paid for them initially. They paid 106 ETH, 401,000 at today's price. So they're going to make a profit, or it's going to be made a profit on. This isn't a 4-minute read. A 4-minute read for who? Einstein. With ultra rare Bored Apes can still fetch lofty prices, the price of more common ones dipped dramatically. So they fell to $47,000. I'm sure I've seen them lower than that, but then again, I've not written this article. Artwork owned by 3AC, which was sold by liquidators, has generated a splash at Sotheby's before. A year ago, a generative piece of art known as the Goose drew a $6.2 million sale. Now, all I'll say about this is that there are 2 collections of NFTs that I think will hold their value forever. And it's CryptoPunks, which were the first, and Bored Apes, which were probably the best. And peak cycle, peak 2021 cycle was Bored Apes. They owned that cycle. You had private yacht parties for people that held Bored Apes. You had VIP clubs. You had bars and restaurants opening. The artwork was yours. You had the copyright on it, even though there's some controversy about that. And holding one meant you could open a bar or restaurant anywhere in the world with this logo on the front of it, and it would be yours. and you would own the intellectual property. There was a cartoon made with various different Bored Apes where you would give your Bored Ape to that cartoon, or the digital asset rights for that cartoon. And I can't remember what they paid at the time. Was it $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 they paid you to use your Bored Ape in a cartoon? So these were peak 2021 bull items. They've gone through the quagmire. I do think they're going to come out the other end. And all of the people that have been laughing at Bieber and laughing at Snoop Dogg, they'll be laughing on the other side of their faces, because guess what's going to happen in 18 months' time? All of the degens that have made millions and millions out of Bitcoin and millions out of altcoins, they are going to buy these. Now, if we have a really good bull run, I'm going to buy a mutant ape, because a mutant ape to me looks way sexier, and I'm all about sexy. It's my middle name. So these, the top right there and the bottom left, they are mutant apes. They're also about, I don't know, I don't think they're about a tenth of the price, maybe something like that. And I just think they're cooler. But as a memento from this bull run, and if we do get enough money to come out of this bull run and sell out, then I would get myself a mutant ape. That's what I would get, but I wouldn't be buying it at the peak. I would wait for us to go through the bear market and then pick one up then. But I certainly would own one of these, and a CryptoPunk. CryptoPunk for me, they're the OG, but these guys, they're the name. If you say, can you give me the name of an NFT collection? And anybody that's in crypto will say Bored Ape Yacht Club. And if they don't, then they're shilling their own bags, in my opinion. And that is pretty much the end of the show. Oh, I am done for the day. Let's see where we end up. Let's go back and have a very quick look at the price of Bitcoin. We are just holding under 71,000. That's a good sign. We've not started to career all the way down again. Remember, I will be back tomorrow at 11 o'clock again. Brogan and his new equipment, I believe he's going to go live today to talk about the prices. He'll be live at 5 o'clock, I think, today. So make sure to watch the show at 5 o'clock, sorry. So that's in 5 hours from now. Brogan will be doing a trading and charts show. So make sure you tune in to that one. That would be greatly appreciated. Until tomorrow, thank you everybody for coming. I'll see you all in the morning. I'm off to make some videos and hopefully get the content for tomorrow prepared. So have a great day. See you all at 74,000. Goodbye.